Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am going live, but I'm waiting for my water to boil so I can get my tea. Because y'all know I'm old school and I don't be trying to do a whole bunch of talking if I ain't got my tea. Now, before we get started, let me make something clear. I'm not going to be able to read any comments as they come up, and that's no disrespect to anybody who's putting up comments, but I simply won't have time to read them. Furthermore, very rarely do I have time to read the comments that you put on my YouTube channel. Um, when you come onto my channel and you're putting comments up that denigrate black women or that insinuate that black women are anything less than divine, then most of the time I will go and I will take the time to delete those. But outside, and generally I don't have time to do that, to be completely and totally honest. But outside of that, I don't have time to read comments on YouTube. So if you're leaving a comment in the hopes of me reading it, that is more than likely not going to happen. If you need to get in touch with me, please reach out to my email, GOT, the number two, the letter B, OSHUN at gmail.com. Again, even if you're reaching out to me via email, I don't have a lot of time to just be um, going back and forth with people on email. Most of my time is spent teaching my children, writing my thesis, or teaching women, Black women around the world, spiritual empowerment. So I don't have a lot of time to go back and forth. If you're reaching out to me via email, I am going to assume that it is for business purposes. That's what I have time to speak about. So if you're leaving comments in the hopes that I'm going to see them and feel bad about myself as a Black woman, then I'm going to have to explain to you that that is an endeavor that you're going to lose out on. So, what I'm trying to do today, and I know there's some sort of app that will do it, but of course I haven't downloaded that. What I'm trying to do today is stream live on several places at one time. So, we're going to see how that works out. And I'm doing that while I'm waiting for my water to boil. I'm setting all of that up. Oh, this one is very dark. I don't know what we can do about that because this room. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on this other light, and that might help us all. Give me a second. I'm gonna turn on the light. I'm gonna go grab my water for my tea, and I will be right back. I think Nuki already fed her. Okay, I'm back with my tea, and I also wanted to get my sacred text here because we got some other sharing that we're going to do with the sacred text. So, first thing that I want to say is to greet everybody. Happy Gregorian New Year. This is not the New Year in the Anago tradition, but we will celebrate it and we will deal with the energy that it brings because this is where we are living right now. Trying to find, as far as the Anago system is concerned, there is no, the name Yoruba was a name given to our ancestors by people outside of the Anago culture. So I do not generally utilize that name when I'm talking about the tradition. But if you are familiar with the Yoruba tradition, then this is the same tradition that people generally refer to as Yoruba. I refer to it as Anago because that is what we called ourselves. Okay. However, in my tradition, it is the year 10,052, I believe. Um, If the Oba, if Kabiesi is watching, he can correct me on that if I am wrong. But for us, it is the year 10,052. Our empire, our legacy is long and it is timeless. So we are looking at the year 2019 for this particular Western society. But I want us to understand that we are the fruit of an ancient tree. And I want us to understand that from the perspective of our ancestors, it is the year 10,052 at least. Okay, I may be off a couple of years here and there, but our traditions, excuse me, are significantly longer than 2019 years old. We do not want to begin this particular reading of the year without giving thanks and praise to our brave and victorious forefathers and foremothers of Haiti who were victorious on this day in fighting for the liberation of all African people. When we understand the Haitian Revolution, then we understand that what Mother Marionette, she was the priestess that did the ebo of the black pig to begin the revolution. What Baba Bookman, what Bokonon, this is a word for priest, Bokonon Makandao, what Baba Toussaint and what Baba Dessalines were fighting for in the Haitian Revolution was the freedom of all enslaved African people in the West. Please understand that the Haitian Revolution and the victory that our ancestors were able to bask in Haiti was what reverberated throughout the Western world, and it led to the emancipation of all Africans that were being held as chattel in the Western world. One of the reasons that our Black ancestors were emancipated here in the United States was because once we had gotten word of the Haitian Revolution and of the Haitian victory, we did not stop revolting. We did not stop. We continued to fight. We continued to break farming implements. We continued to burn down crops. We continued to burn down plantation homes. We continued to fight because that victory let us know that our brothers and sisters from Haiti, should we begin an uprising here, would come and then free us as well. So, one of the reasons that chattel slavery was ended here in the United States was that it became economically unfeasible for them to continue to hold our ancestors in chattel slavery because of the fact that we continue to revolt. And one of the many, many things that sparked this spirit in us was the Haitian Revolution. Macandal, Bookman, Toussaint Louverture, Baba Dessalines, Ia Marionette, their plan and what they intended to do once the island of Haiti was free, or that particular side of that island was free, was to come and to free Africans all over the West. That was the plan. And we knew this. We heard about this. And so we then began to revolt everywhere so that we would let them know, lead a beacon for them to come and free us as well. Do not ever believe you are egregiously ignorant if you look at African people all over Earth Mother Onile and do not understand that we are one people. Our ancestors understood that we were one people. So when I hear Black people saying that other Black people are not Black, then I know I'm listening to ignorance. Oh, she's not Black, she's from the Caribbean. Oh, she's not Black, she's from Africa. Ignorant. I'm not Black, I'm from Nigeria. I'm not Black, I'm from the Caribbean. This is ignorance. One people, common oppressive situations for us all. And our ancestors fought hard, strong, tenaciously to free all of us. When you begin to think that you have some sort of monopoly on blackness, when you say my blackness is the only real blackness and the only blackness that is to be taken seriously, what you are saying is my colonizer was better than yours. That's all that you're saying. You are not proving any sort of point about your own ethnicity or your own ancestry. You are merely saying my colonizer was better than yours. That's what you're saying. So never look at Black people all over Earth Mother Onile and feel yourself to be separated from them. That is not true. That feeling of separation is a feeling that's being pressed upon us by supposed white supremacy. That's where that particular feeling comes from. But we are one all over Earth Mother Onile. Furthermore, Black is original and Black is the seed. Everything comes from Black. So it cannot be erased. You are more likely to be Black than you are to be anything else because we are the global majority. And I'm saying all of this because I heard so much ignorance surrounding this particular subject. Be completely and totally aware, be completely and totally clear that the beginning of the downfall of African people all over the earth began with the downfall of the old Mali Empire. The old Mali Empire is the nations that we now refer to as Senegal, Gambia, and all of those nations in that particular region, Guinea-Bissau, all of these particular nations were a part of the old Mali Empire. When the old Mali Empire fell, this is when you had the absolute beginning of chattel slavery of Africans. Of course, it was began by Arabs. It was not began by Europeans. The first religion that our ancestors were forced to take was Islam. It was not Christianity. So at that particular point, that is when the downfall began. How did we come to be here? How did we come to be what we are here in the West? It was after the fall of the 16 great civilizations of West and Central Africa. If you know your history, please take the time to learn and to research and to understand your history. Slavery began with the fall of the old Mali Empire. It could not have began before then. The empire had to fall in order for our ancestors to begin to be enslaved. Throughout history, other great empires fell, and that's when you would have waves of Africans taken into chattel slavery. So when we look at the great empires that had to fall in order for us to be here where we find ourselves today, we had the fall of the Ashanti Empire, which of course is the Akam people. We had the fall of the Gola Empire, which of course is the people of Queen Nzinga. We had the fall of the Congo Empire, the Bakongo people. We had the fall of the Oyo Empire. This was one of the final empires that fell. And then we had the fall of the Dahomean Empire, which had built itself upon enslaving other Africans. As these particular empires fell, then you would have a wave of enslaved Africans coming into the chattel slavery economy, if you will. So when you look at Africans in the West, we are an amalgamation of all of those lines that have fallen. When these particular empires were falling, those kingdoms then became colonized in West and Central Africa as well. The importance of this is that those of our ancestors that left at that time, that were enslaved and that were taken away, took the traditions, the spiritual traditions with them. Due to the colonization in Africa, many of the spiritual traditions were not able to continue to go on in that area. So many of the ways that we practice the tradition in the West are 400 years old or older because we brought it here with us when we came to these places in the condition of enslavement. So you don't want to look at any part of the global Black majority and say that it has any monopoly on Blackness. That is ignorance. Black is original, Black is the seed, Black is the global majority. All right. All praise and honor and respect to our Haitian ancestors who paved the way so that we can be where we are today. All praise and honor and respect for their sacrifices, for their fight, and for their showing the world the African people now bow. We don't bow, right? In any situation. If we didn't bow in the situation of chattel slavery, there is no situation in which African people bow. So we owe a great debt always to Haiti, the first free nation in the West, the first democratic society in the West was Palmares, again created by Africans in the condition of enslavement. First free nation in the West, Haiti. First, not the United States. Haiti was the first free nation in the West. We owe them a great debt. We don't bow. Look at your tradition. Know who you are. You don't bow. All right. Going to get into this reading. Oh, before I get into this reading, the information that I was giving you about the 16 great lines of West and Central Africa can be found in my book. This is my copy, so it's a bit worn. But my book is Ona Agbani, The Ancient Way. It is available on Amazon. If you look up my last name, Akalatunde, then you will find it. Akalatunde. So let us go ahead and begin with the reading of this year. Let us go ahead and see what do the ancestors and the Orisha have in store for us for this particular year. All my cameras are set up differently. So I hope that Oshun and their shoe will protect me from flashing anybody. Omi tutu, omi tutu, omi tutu. Tutu ori, tutu emi, tutu aye, tutu laro ye. Ba share Lodumare Battery Kaye, Batiwo Joy, Batiwo Runi, Ba Leo Gary Afoko Yari, Ba Rula Larry Ipin, Ba Igbarim Lojoko Tun, Ba Igbarim Lojoko Sin, Ba Kanle New Room War Room, Lay Ba Koda, Ba Share, Ba Mania Afinju Eje, but you a bogboy going Bele mean Bele, say Ludumare Ibaye or Room, Baye to Runi, Ba Wama to New, Ba Oluwo, Ba Odubolo Fatination, Iba Ojubona, Bokuno Medhojko Fizanu, Iba Pojito Nojito Revizanu, Iba Yellow Sheshan going on. Iba Baba Farinu Batai Fagbinro, Iba Bogboy Deli Amushan, Iba Bogboy Deli Fabimro, Iba Epetibi Faleri Fabimro, Iba Agbo Mola B Orisha, Iba Oba Asejima Adefumi the first, Iba Oda Adejubi Adefumi the second, Iba Ia Oba Ia Irete, Iba Olokomeji Village, Nigeria, Iba Abeokuta, Nigeria, Iba Ile Ife, Iba Oyotunji Village, South Carolina. Ashe, Orisha, Kosi Iko, Kosi Fatibo, Kosi Wahala, Kosi Ofo, Fuma Alafia, Fuma Ire, Fuma Iwapwele, Fuma Ovo, Shufuma. I pause at this time to give praise and honor to my ancestors, to give praise and honor to my mother, to my uncles, to my grandmothers. I pause at this time to give praise and honor to my spiritual teacher, Bokono Metahochi Kofi Zanu, who is now honored ancestor. I pause at this time to give praise and honor to my spiritual teacher, Pojito Nochito Wevi Zanu, now honored ancestor. I pause at this time to give praise and honor to the first wife of Metahochi, Modupwe, Iya Modupwe. Pause at this time to give praise and honor to Ialosha Shangoniola, my spiritual teacher, still among the living. Pause at this time to give praise and honor to the Fagbimro family of Abiokuta of Agbomola's compound, my family in Nigeria. I pause at this time to give praise and honor to the predictions of Agbamola that were given last night on the night of prediction. We pause at this time to give praise and honor to our ancestors whose names we do not know. We pause at this time to give praise and honor to our ancestors of Native American ancestry that we are connected to. We pause at this time to give praise and honor to our ancestors who died crossing the Middle Passage. We pause at this time to give praise and honor to all ancestors who walk with us, who walk behind us, and all of our successive lifetimes that walk before us. We ask that we would always do the work necessary to make ourselves worthy of you. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, let's get it popping. Jọ̀wọ́ bá mi ṣe oore yẹ, yẹ Oshun. Jọ̀wọ́ bá mi ṣe oore yẹ, yẹ Oshun. Adídìndín, adídìndín, Oshun ṣèkèṣí, Olúwa ò yá ìhìn. Oshun aládé òkìnnú ní Olemodo Ogutukubada Ogutukubada. O bada bara mu obìnrin bọ̀nà ọkùnrin sá. Bada mu tí kò ṣe etelegbe mu. Etiti eko yoko oko máa sùn. Yeye o àfi ìdẹ̀rẹ̀ ọmọ. O yeye ni ìmá ìdè kìsùn. Àgbẹ̀nu ìmá fi ohun tó rẹ̀ ó ta wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ ní ti Oshun. O wáyàwé kò wò wí. Oshun koko wo fún mi tú mi o. Amariwo tí mi mọ yarin. Oreye, yeah. Oreye, yeah. All right. Woo. Love and honor and respect to the ancestors. And let's move on forward. See what we have to look forward to in this particular year. Mm, 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 mm. All right. I came around. First Odu for 2019 is OD. Next leg of our Odu for 2019 is Egbe. First leg of our Odu is OD, ODI if you're writing it down. Next leg is Egbe, OGBE if you're writing it down. Ireta baby, yeah. Hepa. This particular year is in EB in Ofun. IBI, Ofun, OFUN. Guiding Orisha for this year, Oshun, Osun, with a dot under the S. And Shango, Kaboka BSLA, SANGO, with a dot under the S. All right. So now we're going to deal with the Odu, an explanation of the Odu. So everything that comes to be, everything that is. I'm gonna turn this way, guys. This is my this is the YouTube stream. I'm trying to get the Facebook stream over here as well. We're gonna do the best that we can. And I'll download that app later on today so I can have the app that allows me to do them all at one time. So now we're going to get an understanding of that Odu. So we'll begin with the first Odu. The first Odu is OD. What OD lets us know is that any partnerships that we are planning for this particular year, we must make sure that these partnerships are matched. We must not partner ourselves with people that we do not match, that are not a match for us. And when we say a match here, what we mean is that people have the same drive as we do. People have the same ambition as we do, have the same go get it mentality. Those are the type of people that you want to partner yourself with for the new year. When you partner yourself with people who do not have the same drive as you, who do not have the same kind of that go getting force, that force that propels you, that motivation that makes you move forward and do the things that you need to do, then what you will find is that you will be pulling those particular people along. And you don't want to put yourself in the position where you're ever pulling anyone else along. If the Odu teaches us that my destiny is the most important thing to me, and that is as it should be. Your primary responsibility, what you are responsible for, is your own personal destiny that you chose before you entered into the womb of your mother for this particular lifetime. When you find yourself pulling another person along or pulling an organization along, right? Or a coalition, anything of that nature that you partnered yourself with, when you don't have others that are helping you to pull this load, you're going to drain yourself. You're going to use yourself up and you're going to find yourself unable to complete the task of fulfilling your own personal destiny. So the Orisha are reminding us, and the ancestors are reminding us in this particular year to make sure that we are partnered equally. They said it should be like two buttocks on the same behind, right? It should be that equal. So when you are looking for a business partner, when you are looking for a romantic partner, when you are looking for a job, or when you are creating your own business, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that you're doing it with individuals or with an individual that has the same drive as you, that has the same get up and go get it, and it's that same motivating force as you. Do not connect and link yourself with individuals who do not have this. Be very aware this year of not dimming your shine. This particular Odu explains to us the importance of shining brightly and shining brilliantly. This Odu speaks about the actual sun, the sun in the sky that our planet circles around. So this Odu speaks about the actual sun. Do not dim your light. Understand that if you came into this world as a light bringer, when you walk into a room, you enter into the room and you bring light. Okay? How people choose to respond to that light is is their business and it is not yours. Whenever I get this particular Odu, when I'm doing a divination for a client, then what I let the client know is that there are many different ways that people respond to light. Am I right? There are those of us who love light. There are those of us who love warmth. And so when we find a patch of bright sunlight, we go towards it. And oh, we want to lay, we want to bask in the warmth. And oh, if somebody comes and turns the light on in our dark room, we're so happy because we can find that thing that we couldn't find before. Oh, I didn't even know that was there. Oh, that's been hidden from me for so long. There are some people who love the light and who love the illumination and the brilliance. But there are other people, and these are, I'm not setting them up in any sort of hierarchy. There are other people who do not love light. There are other people that prefer darkness. There are other people who the sunlight bothers them. It bothers their eyes. It bothers their skin. They don't like to be a particular temperature. There are other people who don't want everything in their life brightly illuminated. They don't want everybody to be able to see every little hidden piece and every little bitlet of their life. So those are the two ways that people naturally and normally respond to light. They either gravitate toward it and ooh, they can't get enough of it and they want some more of it, or they say, turn that light off, that light is too bright. Those are natural, normal responses to light. And so when people have that response to you, that is not your cue to dim yourself. That has everything to do with them, it has nothing to do with you. Continue to shine as brightly as you naturally and normally shine. The Orisha are reminding us for this year, we'll be put in several situations where people may have an adverse reaction to our light, to our shine, to our brilliance. And it is their prerogative. It's their prerogative to react adversely. It is. You don't place a value judgment on how the next man reacts to something or the next woman reacts to something. That's their prerogative. But what the Orisha and the ancestors are reminding you with this particular Odu is that you don't dim your light. You don't turn down your brilliance. You don't, you know how sometimes you go into a house that's very beautifully decorated and they have a lamp and they've placed a beautiful scarf over it so that the lamp doesn't shine too brightly. And while that scarf is beautiful and we love it, and we love the different colors that shine through as the light of the lamp shines through the scarf, while we love that, that is not your portion. As my brothers and sisters would say in Nigeria, that is not your portion. Do not dim yourself. Do not dim your light. Do not take a beautiful scarf and cast it over yourself so that people can only see part of how you are shining through, so that people can only see part of your brilliance. You are being told not to do that. And you're being forewarned that there will be several situations that will make you want to do that. And so your admonition is to not. Do not do that. This will be a year when it is necessary for you to cloak yourself in physical protection and spiritual protection. This is a year when that is necessary. Okay, with this coming from the Odu of OD. So make sure that upon rising, you are praying for your protection and you're praying for the protection of those people that you are responsible for, whoever those people may be. Black women, you're not responsible for anybody but yourself, your aging family members, and your children. That's who you're responsible for. Every other adult is responsible for themselves. So don't be out here extending and overextending your ashe so that you don't have enough for yourself and your children and your aging family because you extending your ashe to people that you're not responsible for. And don't say I didn't tell you. But for this particular year, make sure that you are psychically and spiritually and physically protecting yourself and everyone that you are responsible for. Take the time to pray for protection every morning upon rising. Ask your ancestors to protect you. Ask your Orisha to protect you. All right? Okay. That is OD. The next level of our Odu, the next Odu for this particular reading is Ogbe. When we hear Ogbe, then we know that we will be presented opportunities to learn patience. I'm going to say it again for those in the back who probably wasn't listening. When we hear Ogbe, when Ogbe falls, then we know that we will be presented with opportunities to learn patience. There's a beautiful word in the Yoruba language, suuru, Suuru. Many times when you're reading in Yoruba and you see the subsequent translation in English, you will see that this particular word is translated as patience. However, when you study su'uru as a state of being, as a mindset, as a way of walking through life, then what you realize is that su'uru is actually the state of sweetness in the face of adversity. The ability to wait peacefully and sweetly, coolly and calmly. So when we see Ogbe, when we see Ogbe fall upon the tray, then we know that what we're being told by the Orisha and by our ancestors is that this year will present us with opportunities to learn Su'uru. For these opportunities, we should be grateful. It is important to learn Su'uru, right? It is Su'uru that is the father of good character, of gentle character. Iwapwele, divine and gentle character. And it is Iwapwele that allows the rope of life to remain unbroken in one's hand. So it is Iwapwele that brings long life, gentle character. And it is Su'uru that creates Iwapwele. So this particular year, we are working on Su'uru. We are working on sweetness, coolness, and calmness in the face of adversity. What does this mean? Black people all over the world. We can get upset at this one, can't we? Because we feel like we've been practicing Suwuru, right? We've been sweet and calm in the face of adversity, right? That's what that feels like to me. When I hear it, that's what it feels like to me, right? But that is a complete misunderstanding of what we are being told in this particular Oju. So our ancestors taught in the Oju that anger does not do anything for anyone. It is Su'uru that is the father of good character and that is the father of long life. What does that mean? Does that mean anger is an emotion that we should suppress, that we should repress, that we should not feel? No. It means that anger is not an emotion that you act in. You do act upon it, but you don't act in it. Okay? You act in su'uru. You act in calmness. Any warrior, any martial artist, anyone who has mastered any sort of skill, and your great athletes, your great teachers, your great philosophers will let you know that when you move in anger, you move improperly because your thoughts are not rational. So you do not suppress your anger. You do not repress your anger. You do not make yourself a doormat and allow yourself to be stepped upon. That is not what sweetness, coolness, and calmness in the face of adversity means. What sweetness and coolness and calmness in the face of adversity means is you become righteously angry because someone has done something to you that is wrong, and you allow that anger to have its time inside you. You think about what the anger is telling you. You think about what the anger is teaching you, and then you act on it, not in it, but on it. So you do what you have to do to right the situation, but you do that in peace, in coolness, and in calmness. That's how you maintain your rational thought. That's how you maintain your connection to your Ori, which is where your destiny is housed. It's how you maintain your connection to your ancestors and to the divine, which is directly connected to your Ori. So this what Ogbe is reminding us is that this year we will be presented with many, many opportunities to learn patience, to practice su'uru, sweetness in the face of adversity. I want you to understand that su'uru has always been and will continue to be of the utmost importance to Black people, right? What do we place such a high value on? Being cool, right? Place a high value on being cool. Did you hear the libation that I did before I started the reading? You hear how many times I said the word tutu? That means cool. This is a 10,000-year-old incantation that I'm doing. So for 10,000 years, our ancestors understood the necessity of maintaining coolness And we never lost that, right? Being cool is important to us even until today. So when we find ourselves in an adverse situation, when we find ourselves being aggressively attacked, pay attention to what's being said. Get the gist of what's being said. Allow that anger to swallow that anger down and ingest it. Hear what that anger has to tell you. Hear what that anger has to say, and then act upon it as is necessary, as is correct. You can't strategize acting in anger, right? You cannot strategize that way. You never will. You'll never win anything acting in anger, right? You will never win anything. The 12 long years of the Haitian Revolution that we began this broadcast talking about could not have been victorious without acting upon the righteous anger that our ancestors had about the condition of enslavement. But you can't act in it. You ain't gonna win nothing. You ain't gonna get nothing. Nothing is going to be solved. Okay? So this is another thing that our ancestors are reminding us of. Now, with this particular Odu of Ogbe, it also gives us the method to use to achieve su'uru, to achieve coolness, calmness, sweetness in the face of adversity. Because in Ogbe, our ancestors talk about the importance of fasting. They talk about the importance of eating properly. They talk about the importance of creating a meditative environment around you. This is an Odu that teaches us of the necessity of those things. Another thing, when you know that you are going into a situation where there may be an altercation, where there may be a fight, whether it's verbal, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever, our ancestors would always say our tradition is to wear the color white, especially upon your head. This color that this right here, this color that I have on, is a color that you don't want to wear when you're walking into a situation like that. This red, because this draws the energy of action to you. And when you're walking into a situation like that, you want to have a meditative, contemplative energy so that you can see what's going on. Then when it's time to act, you can go and put your red on. So, this particular year is an excellent year for fasting. This is an excellent year for detoxing. This is an excellent year to make sure that the foods that you are eating are pure and that they are actual food. I am not a proponent of one diet for everybody. The universe that we live in is a system that thrives on a diversity. That's why it is so diverse. So, when I say to eat pure, when I say to eat properly, what I'm saying is make sure that what you're eating is food. Make sure that you are not eating chemicals. Okay? When you ingest chemicals, this makes you unable to harness and to deal with your emotions. Chemicals, in particular, sugar, and in particular, white flour. This makes you unable. These are drugs, for lack of a better word. So make sure that what you are eating is actual food for human beings and that you're not ingesting chemicals. Now, when I say to watch your consumption, to watch what you're ingesting, when I say that the Odu Ogbe is reminding us of the importance of eating pure and to make sure that the things that we're putting into our body are pure, I mean in every way. Okay? So when you are consuming what you watch, you are consuming what you listen to. You are consuming conversations that you have. You are consuming the company that you keep. So, what this will do is reminding us this year is that it is necessary for us to purify all of those things and to make sure that everything that we're taking into our system is uplifting, is healing, is strengthening, is empowering. Don't participate in conversations that are not empowering. Don't listen to music that's not empowering. Don't watch shows that are not empowering. Don't be in groups that don't make you feel empowered. Don't do that. You're taking away from your ability to harness and utilize your emotions properly. And that is going to be of the utmost necessity in this coming year. So eat properly, have proper conversations, watch things that are empowering, listen to things that are empowering, participate in groups that are empowering and uplifting, and do not do the other, don't do things that pull you down. Now, balance is of the utmost necessity within life. So, if you want to listen to a little bit of ratchet stuff every now and again, by all means, listen to you a little bit of ratchet stuff. You want to eat you a little piece of candy every now and again, by all means, eat you a little piece of candy, right? But you must make sure to be disciplined and to always practice moderation in all things. Nothing that is imbalanced will ever be blessed. So you have to have balance in order to be blessed. So I am not saying get yourself on some regimen that is so strict and that is so restrictive that you don't feel like you're enjoying the good things of life. That's not what I'm saying, and I would never advocate that because that's ridiculous and it cannot be sustained. But what I'm saying is make sure, pay attention, be conscious of what you're taking in through your eyes, through your mouth, through your ears, through your heart in your interactions, and be conscious and be aware of how that affects you because it is going to be important for you to be able to harness and utilize your emotions properly this year. Okay, this is Ogbe. This is Ogbe. All right. Any time in life, you will find, according to our tradition, you will find yourself in one or two states. You will find yourself in the state of Ire. You will find yourself in the state of Ibi. The state of Ire means that the path to the fulfillment of your destiny is clear. You have cleared the path. The state of Ibi means that the path is not clear, that there are some obstacles and there are some blockages to this particular path being clear. So at this time in this year, we are in EB. This particular year came in EB. So it is necessary for us to make some sacrifices and for us to change some things, move some blockages and some obstacles, go around or to go through some blockages and some obstacles in order to get to where we need to be this year. This particular EB blockage comes in the Odu Ofun. Epa, epa, epa. So what we know, then we know what the blockage is. So the blockage is that we are not, as a collective, demanding and taking what is rightfully ours. Get a sip of my tea, I'm going to say it again. Your blockage this year is that you are not demanding and taking what is rightfully yours. When you, I'm going to start at the beginning because I was about to start in the middle. The Odu Ofun teaches us that we are born in a high place. We are born, we are the fruit of an ancient tree, as Julie Dash said. We are born with a particular type of status. Many times, the rigors, the negativity, the normal ups and downs of life will cause us to believe that status that we felt when we were born, that we felt when we were children, that we knew was our reality and our true self. Many times life will make us feel that our understanding of ourselves was incorrect and that we are actually somehow lower beings that are meant to be treated in a low way, meant to be treated in a negative way, and that we are not worthy of all of those things that we deserve. Life will make you feel like that. That is the nature of life. That is the nature of this world that we created. So, what Ofun reminds us is that when you continue to wallow in this feeling of lowness, when you entertain this feeling of lowness, when you take that on as your way of being, when you say, this is me, this lowness is who I am, then you lose your inheritance. You lose your resources. You lose what is rightfully yours. So Ofun is reminding us that the obstacle before us this year is the blockage of believing ourselves to be less than we actually are. Ofun is reminding us that when you succumb to this belief, you lose your inheritance. So this is the blockage that we're fighting against this year. Let me ask a quick question. All right. So I asked Oshun, is there an Egbe? Is there an offering? Is there a sacrifice? Is there something that we can do to remove this blockage? She said yes. And she said what we need to do collectively to remove this blockage is to educate ourselves about finances. Many times when you look at the plight of Black people all over the earth and African people and those of West African descent, West and Central African descent like us in particular, you will find that financially we are on a lower level. The majority of this low level financial status comes from the fact that we were not allotted the capital that we created when we were enslaved. Okay. And I'm choosing my words very carefully. Okay. Because if something is yours, nobody has to grant it to you. So I'm not going to use those types of terms. So we created capital during the time of enslavement. We were, goddamn it, capital, right? These Western nations, their economic systems were built in the womb of the Black woman. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. And so we were capital, but when those enslavement time periods came to an end, we were not allotted an economic what's the word I'm looking for? Restitution for that particular wrongdoing. Not only that, we have never had many of our riches restored. Some of the things that were taken from our sacred homelands are just now being taken back to West and Central Africa. And all of those things carry a vibration. So when we find ourselves here in the West, many times we interact and we react from a poverty stricken mentality, right? We saw how hard our parents and our grandparents had to struggle to get things. And so we have a struggle mentality. What Oshun is saying to us is to overcome this particular obstacle, we have to educate ourselves about finances. We have to. We have to gain an understanding of how money actually works, and we have to change our relationship with money. Remember that as African people, Black women in particular, we created wealth. We created wealth. Study your history, and you'll see that I'm correct. Okay. There's a book, Black Women in Antiquity, by Ivan Van Sertima, coming out of the country of Guyana, now honored ancestor. There is a book, African Woman, the Original Guardian Angel, by Ishaka Moshe Barashango. I would study either of those books, and then you'll get an understanding as to how Black women created wealth. So, wealth is ours, wealth belongs to us. What we have to change in order to get out of this particular cycle of obstacles towards wealth is how we understand wealth, what we understand wealth to be, specifically speaking, right now, financial wealth. We have to change that. And so we have to educate ourselves on that. I'm going to put up in the YouTube video some recommendations of people who can help you with that, people who can teach you about that. And I'm not going to recommend anybody whose results I can't see. So if I can see your results, you're going to find yourself recommended. If I can't see your results, then I'm not going to recommend you. Okay. So it doesn't mean I don't like you, doesn't mean I think anything negative about you, but I believe my eyes. So if I see your results, then I know that you have a certain kind of relationship with money. So I will recommend a program to you once this particular thing is over. I'll type it in the comments of the YouTube video. I don't think I can do it on the Facebook video. So y'all gonna have to come and access the YouTube video to get that part. All right. This year is being ruled. So every year has ruling Orisha. Every year has forces of nature that are at the forefront of this particular time period that are pulling us through and taking us through this particular time. So the Orisha that ruled this year are Oshun and Shango Kabiesi. So when we have a year that's ruled by Oshun, the first thing that we know that we're going to deal with a lot. And the first lesson that we're going to be learning in this year is the lesson of harmony and the creation of harmony. As I said many years ago, I actually put it in the Wikipedia um, uh, um, definition of Oshun many years ago. Oh my God, about 13 years ago, I wrote that. Oshun is harmony. She's the harmony that we can see. We call that beauty. She is the harmony that we can feel. We call that love, right? She is the necessary harmony that the universe has in order to keep it rolling, in order to keep it moving. So, this particular year, that is one of the guiding forces of this year, is that force of harmony. And when we think about the fact that we're going to be seeking Su'uru this year, we think about the fact that we're going to be learning to properly harness and utilize our emotions this year. We're going to make sure that we're eating properly and that we're consuming and listening and participating properly. Then we know that harmony is an essential compound of all of that. And so it makes complete sense that Oshun is the ruling and guiding and leading Orisha for this year. That Oshun energy is the energy of sweetness. It is the energy of beauty. It is the energy of sexuality and sexual attraction. This is the energy of fresh water that nothing can exist without. This is the energy of everything that makes life worth living, right? With these things is how we create harmony. When we deal with Oshun, we also have to know too, though, that we're dealing with some other energies, and so I'm going to talk about those a little bit. So we're also going to deal with the energy of depression. This is one of the energies that Oshun brings to the earth. So for those of you who already suffer with depression, then make sure that you're doing everything that you need to keep that at bay. Remember that balance is important, first of all. So remember that everything is going to have its ups and downs. Everything's going to have its good days and its bad days. That is the nature of life. That's the nature of everybody's life. If you're looking at anybody's life and you're believing that they only have good days, then you're looking and you're not seeing the fullness. Everything has to have good days and bad days. But if you suffer from depression, or if you are fighting off the ravages of depression, please be aware of how situations affect you. Please be aware of how food affects you. Please be aware of how people affect you. And remove yourself from situations that make you feel bad. Eat properly, do things that make you happy, get plenty, 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 plenty of sunshine. Get plenty, 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 plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables. Get plenty, plenty of sleep and drink plenty, plenty of water. All right? Because depression will be one of the things that we'll have to deal with in this particular year. The second thing that comes up when you're dealing with that energy of Oshun is, oh, it was just in my mind and I lost it that quick. Oh, got it back. Boundaries. So this will be a year where we will have to work on proper creation of boundaries. Okay, this is a hard one. This is a hard one. The energy of Oshun, let me explain, is the energy of attraction. Okay, it is a necessary energy to create anything, right? It created us all, right? It's the energy of attraction that caused our moms and our dads to come together to create us, right? And that's the energy of Oshun. It's normal, natural, it's beautiful. But the energy of attraction, and I always tell children of Oshun this, you are a plate of honey in the universe. This is what the Orisha are telling us for this year. You're a plate of honey in the universe. Everybody gonna want to come up and get a taste. And that ain't wrong. That's normal and natural. You just out here in the universe as a succulent, delicious plate of honey. Yes, everybody's going to want to come up and get a taste. What does that mean? That means it is incumbent upon you. It is your responsibility to decide who gets a taste and who don't. That's your responsibility, right? It is magical and wonderful and useful to be a plate of honey in the universe. Don't you ever deny, don't you ever decry, don't you think that it's something negative. Don't you ever sit nowhere and be like, how did all these crazy people get into my space? Don't wonder that. We have told you before at the beginning of this divination that you are bright, shining light. And now Oshun is telling you in this part that you a plate of honey. So don't ever be nowhere asking yourself how you attracted this, that, and the third. Of course you attracted this, that, and the third. Your responsibility is to decide who gets a taste and who doesn't. And tasting the honey ain't free. And say it again for the people in the back who didn't hear me. Tasting honey ain't free, right? Even when honey was just out in the forest and human beings wanted to get them some honey, the honey hunters had to make the necessary sacrifices to go get that honey. Hmm. Amen, life. Y'all don't hear me though, right? Even before the monetary system was created, the honey hunters had to make the necessary sacrifice to get them some honey. You a plate of honey out in the universe. You ain't free. That ain't how life work. If you want some honey, then you got to be able to get past the bees. You got to have the resources to get past the bees. You got to have the resources to be able to climb the tree where the bees done put their hive. You got to be willing to get stung a little bit. So don't be out here giving yourself away for free. You a plate of honey and honey ain't free. It ain't never been free. All right. Those are two things you got to work on. Keep your depression at bay in the best way that you possibly can. If you are on some medication, take your medication and take exquisitely good care of yourself and also create your boundaries. These are the ways that we are going to honor Oshun in this year and in this lifetime. In this particular cycle. Okay, so Oshun is the leading, guiding Orisha for this year. Nothing in the tradition happens in ones. Everything happens in twos, right? Life happens in twos to all of us. Life happens and comes from pairs, right? Life can't just come from one, right? The Odu teaches us that one foot is not safe on a bridge. and one hand cannot lift a load onto the head, right? So just like that, there's two parts of every divination. So the next part of the Odu, I'm sorry, the next Orisha that's ruling this year is Shango, Kawoka Biesele. And I figured it was going to be Shango because this morning when I was deciding which lapa to put on in order to do this divination, this red and white one was what came to my mind. When I was thinking about it last night before I fell asleep, I was thinking about a white one, you know, an all white one. When I woke up this morning, I thought about a green one because that is the color of Orumala, and you know that's the wisdom. You come, you bring in the wisdom and the information and all. But then when I went into my closet after I took my shower and meditation and all of that, it was just red and white one. So I figured that the ruling one of the ruling principles was going to be Shango Kawakabi Sele. Shango principle again, one of the major principles of attraction. So again, speaking of boundaries and the necessity of having boundaries and making sure that even though everybody is going to want some, that you create those scenarios in which people can actually um, um, access you, okay, and access your energy and access your power. All right. Shango is also the energy of courage. Shango teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. This is what courage is. So Shango is that principle. This is going to be another one of the guiding principles of this year. And something else that we must pay attention to. And something else that we must cloak ourselves in, right? Wrap yourselves in that courage. Remember, we're working on not dimming our light. We're working on making sure that we get what we're due in every aspect, in every arena. We're working on setting boundaries. I guarantee you that all of these things are going to require courage. They're going to cause fear to come up in you because you may have lived, you may have interacted, you may have acted in a specific way. There may be a specific way that you're used to being and used to acting. So when you're moving outside of that, fear comes up. Ooh, can I do it? Ooh, and am I gonna be able to do it? Ooh, do I have what it takes to do it? And Shango Kabiesi is that principle that teaches us that you have to act in spite of fear, right? Courage is acting in spite of fear. Shango is also that principle of will. He is also that principle of motivation, that force that pushes you to go forward and do the things that you need to get done. So, this is, of course, something that you'll need in order to act in spite of your fear. So, this is another energy that we're going to draw upon and call upon this year. Something else to be careful of is becoming despondent. This Shango energy brings with it the energy of becoming despondent. And when I say despondent, what I am saying is being down on yourself, talking down to yourself, feeling like you because you've made a mistake or because you have had a setback or because you've done this wrong or that wrong or because you simply don't know because you're not educated on particular things. That energy of Shango causes us sometimes to become despondent, to feel, oh, I must not be good enough. Oh, I must not be the one that's supposed to do this. Oh, this must not be where I'm supposed to be. So you will have to guard against that energy this year. So guarding against the energy of depression, we're also going to guard against this particular energy of feeling despondent, right? Those are two of the things that we're going to have to guard against. Remember what I said earlier when we were talking about Ogbe. And I said that when you are going into a situation where you know that there's going to be an altercation, that you want to wear the color white in order to cool your spirit. But then what did I say? I said that then when you return to that situation and you know that you're going to have to take action, then that's when you wear the color red. There are two books that I would recommend that you study just as a person of African descent in the West. And those books are Flash of the Spirit and Exchanging Our Country Marks. When you study these books, what you will realize is that for almost every revolt that our ancestors had during the enslavement period, they wore the color red. For many revolts, they ate roasted corn. This is the sacred food of Shango Kabiesi. Okay, they ate roasted corn. And all of these things were to increase their will, to increase their drive. So when it is time to take action this year and always, you're going to put on your red. Okay, you're going to walk in there with the spirit of Shango, Kavoka Biesele. And we say Kavoka Biesele when we say his name, because in one of his incarnations, he was the king, it was the Alafin. And so we always remember that by saying greetings to His Majesty. Kawo Kabiesele. Sometimes you just shorten it to Shango Kabiesi, or some people just call him Obako so to keep from having to say all of them accolades at the end. But it's up to you. So I'm gonna end it out with one of the Itan of Shango Kabiesi, coming from the Odu. There was a time, there was an incarnation in which Shango was known as the madman of Ijebu. Yes, Ijebu. And he lived in the forest. He was not refined, he was not civilized. And so he lived outside of civilization. And he didn't take good care of himself. He didn't participate in the norms of society. And so the people of Ijebu knew him as mad. Okay, when we say mad in this context, we're speaking of its actual meaning, being, a little off, being crazy. And so there was a time when the people in that particular village began to be ravaged by a leopard. And the leopard would come into the village and it would eat the children. And so Shango Kabiesi came into the village at one point because he still had to interact as far as to get his food and the things that he needed from people who were there in quote unquote civilization. And everybody in the village was very sad. And normally when he visited them, everybody didn't seem to be like that. But he went to visit these people and they were all sad. And he asked, "Why is everybody so sad?" And they said, "There's a leopard that is eating our children. And we are terrified. We are horrified. We don't know what we're going to do. And we don't know how we're going to fight this leopard." And Shango, who understood himself to be one of these people, even though he didn't live there with them, said, I will fight the leopard for you. And the people were shocked. The man is going to fight the leopard. What is he going to do? What he got? What he got to fight the leopard with? And so they said, okay, all right. The leopard is really dangerous. And Shango was like, it's fine, I got it. I'm gonna fight the leopard. And they gave him food and everything. And he was eating. And they said, well, what weapon you gonna use to fight him with? And if you've ever been to West or Central Africa, you have seen the gigantic mortar and pestles that the women use to pound the root vegetables. We call it starch. We call it fufu. All different type of root vegetables that at some point began to be a major component in our diet. But the mortars are huge, and the pestles are gigantic, and the women use them to pound like that. And some of the women will tell you that the pounding is so hard that their hands will bleed. But anyway, as Shango was getting his food there in the village, he noticed a mortar. And he said, when they asked him, what weapon are you going to use to fight the leopard? Shango said, I will use that. And the people were confused. And they said, he ain't going to even use the pestle? He going to use the mortar? Okay, whatever, bro. And so the night came, and they told him the leopard came at night. And the night came, And Shango climbed up in a tree with the mortar. And he said, I will wait for the leopard. He climbed up in a tree so that he could see the entire village. And the leopard came creeping in. And Shango was terrified. Oh my God. He had no idea that he had signed up to fight this ferocious beast. He wasn't aware of what the people were speaking of. And in our language, we call the leopard a coon, A-E-K-U-N, a coon. And so he saw the Ekun creeping into the village and going to try to eat one of the children of Ijebu. And Shango took the mortar, he had turned it upside down, and he leapt out of the tree onto the leopard. And the way that the mortar hit the head of the leopard, it came down on his head and he killed it. This is how Shango became known even until today as the one who kills the leopard with the mortar. And even until today, the priests and priestesses of Shango Kabiesi sit their sacred implements upon the upside down mortar in remembrance of this particular Etam, this particular piece of oral history. So, what do we know from that? First thing, you have to act in spite of fear. Shango was terrified when he saw the leopard, but he acted anyway. Second thing, you have what is necessary to remove the obstacles to you fulfilling your destiny. Even if it just seems like all you have is a mortar, that's what's necessary, right? So Shango, all he had was this mortar. It's a cooking implement, but that's what he had, right? And he climbed up in the tree. He surveyed what was going on, right? He took his time. He didn't run out into the forest looking for the leopard because Shango is also the ultimate strategist. And so he took his time. He surveyed, he saw what was going on. And when the time came for him to face that blockage, when the time came for him to face that obstacle, that fear rose up in him. But he acted in spite of it. So, what will we have to do? We will have to leap up on the leopard. We will have to trust that whatever implements our ancestors have blessed us with are enough for us to best and to kill the leopard. From then until now, the great kings of the Elway farm people were known as the leopard, and they wore a leopard skin in honor of this particular Etan, this particular oral history. Leap up on the leopard. Act in spite of your fear. Know that no matter what it is that you have in your hand, this is enough. You are enough. What you have, what you were born with, the simple implements of life are enough for you to destroy any blockage that's in you. All right. Y'all know how I do. I could not be here today if it wasn't for the diviners that went before me. I would not be here today if my elders didn't take the time to teach me how to divine and teach me how to appease the Orisha. And so my elders are sorely missed. I miss them. I miss their physical presence, and the ability to sit at their feet. But I wouldn't presume to be able to do this work or to share with you if I did not have them always standing behind me. So, praise and honor to the Metahochi Kofi Omawale Zanu, who taught me how to divine. Praise and honor to his wife, Pojito, Queen Mother Nochito Wivizanu, who taught me how to appease the deities. Praise and honor to Iolosha Shango and Iola,
who taught me how to propitiate the deities and taught me the songs and dances of the Orisha and how to live a life of Ifa. Praise and honor to my mother, Lalita, who brought me to this realm in this particular lifetime. Praise and honor to her mother before her and her mother before her, who lived the life of a priestess in this land. So, not necessarily called a priestess or an Elosha, but who were always the fortune tellers and the midwives and the spiritual leaders of our community. So, I don't stand to presume to sit before you today and pretend that I am doing this alone. Most importantly of all, praise and honor to Oshun, my beloved Orisha mother, who is the head of my life and who is my Olodumare. And last but certainly not least, last but first, praise and honor to Ori, holder of my destiny, carrier of my destiny, reminder of what I am here to do. Thankful and grateful to all of you who joined me here today. Thankful and grateful to my cyber family, to my actual family. Some of my actual family is here watching me online. People were like, "Are we gonna come to your house?" I was like, "No, go on and party and have a good time the night before, and I'll stream it so you can just watch it without having to get up early and get dressed and come over." So praise and honor to those particular people. Praise and honor to my children who are my reason for being, the reason that I exist, the reason that I am the woman that you see before you. All right. As always, I wish ecstasy, abundance, and bliss and all of the gifts of Oshun upon those who are within the sound of my voice and who are wishing the same for me and mine. We made it. We are here. It is another glorious opportunity to continue in the fulfillment of this magnificent destiny that we chose before we came into the wombs of our mothers. So, all praises to us. We did it. And as always, we wish the lessons of life upon those who are ignorant enough to wish us anything but prosperity, ignorant enough to wish us anything but long, healthy, fruitful lives. Y'all know that I love y'all. Please share, 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 share. If you haven't subscribed, of course you can subscribe. If you are interested in taking classes from me or in getting your own personal reading from me, you can go to my website, www.got, the number two, the letter B, oshun.org. And if you once you have purchased a reading there, please reach out to me via email, got, the number two, the letter B, oshun at gmail.com. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget and don't belittle the traditions of your ancestors, right? Without the traditions of our ancestors, we would not be here. So do not forget, eat your black eyed peas, eat your cabbage, to eat your cornbread and eat your sausage, whatever kind of sausage you eat. I did a lovely vegan sausage last night. That was quite delicious. The company, I think it's called Beyond Meat. Oh, it was fat. It was hot and spicy Italian. But anyway, don't forget to do that. Don't denigrate how your ancestors had to practice in this land, right? Because it is how they practiced in this land that gave us the ability to be here today. So don't belittle it. Don't call the things that your ancestors did in this land just superstitions. And look back to West Africa and say that's the real thing. It's the real thing that we was doing over here too. If it wasn't the real thing, we wouldn't be alive to talk about it. Okay, show honor and respect to your grandmama and your granddaddy and all those people and what they had to do to survive on this side. Okay, so honor and respect your traditions, the traditions of your people always, right? A child who shows respect, the Odu said, never has to make up for not having shown respect and will always have the favor of his or her ancestors. All right, guys. I love y'all. Let me go. And I look forward to working with you guys in the new year. I will put the name up of the wealth counselor and advisor that I recommend in the YouTube. And I'll also make sure that the name of my book and that my website is here. All right. Peace, guys.